Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item, I see we have some students here. We got student reports. If you want to come up and...
Yeah, thank you so much for allowing me to speak tonight. I really appreciate it. Hi, my name is Alicia Fagarski, and I am a sophomore at Prouty. On April 26, James Laney was promoted to Eagle Scout, which is the highest ranking in the Boy Scouts. Congratulations to you, James. On April 29th, Mark Manila, a motivational speaker, came to speak to the seniors. He speaks nationally all about respect and making more positive decisions. AP testing is going to take place throughout the course of this week. On Friday, the chorus will compete in a competition at Six Flags. The Mr. Panther competition will take place on the 12th. Math MCAS is going to be held on the 12th and the 13th. Also on the 13th, the Distinguished Alumni Committee will be honoring Senator Ann Gopi and Mark Meacham. On the 14th, Student Council will be sponsoring a blood drive. On the 15th, the senior class trip will be held. On the 20th and 21st, there will be the senior final exams, and later on the 21st, the senior dinner dance will be held. On the 22nd, the junior prom will be held at Cyprian Keys. On the 26th, senior honor banquet will be held and hosted by the Spencer Exchange Club. On the 27th, class day will be held in the afternoon, and then the baccalaureate will be held at the church at 7. The 28th, finally, the seniors will graduate. Thank you again.
Thank you. Are there any other student reports? Is that the only one?
We do have one coming, Knox Trail does.
Okay, just
Just running late.
let me know when they, and we'll hear them. Any visitors wish to be heard? Any visitors wish to be heard? All right, I'm going to take a couple things out of order on the agenda. We're going to have discussion on the facility use. I was contacted by a few people of the organizations that use the facilities, and they've got practice and some other commitments going on and may not be here till about 7:30. So we're going to cover some of the other items first, and when I see some of those folks come in, then we'll move back to the discussion of the facilities. So the next item on the report on the agenda would be the superintendent's report. Dr. Crow.
Thank you, Mr. Hayes. Excuse me. The report tonight that I have for you is really a summary overview of the last 6 months of my superintendency. As Mr. Coletti had asked me previously, is in January I'd come to you and done a report about the entry plan and talked about some of the things that I had done. At this point, I really want to do a summary of the groups that I have spoken with and give an update on the goals that we felt that we've achieved as an administration, and then the goals as we move forward. This year will not be a typical year. As you know, that in Massachusetts, most superintendents take their post July 1st, get into a cycle of evaluation because there are a number of us in Massachusetts that are working in the new superintendent's induction program right now called Bridge. We came mid-cycle, so we're working together with MASS and MASC on an abbreviated version of that, but we will be going through that process in its formalized form in the next cycle. So when I came in January, one of the things I talked about is the fact that I had spoken with a number of groups in the community. I've continued to do that. I've continued to speak to classes of students. I specifically spoke with the seniors about the graduation plans, with them as a group, and then with their class officers, and then with the president. I've met with the president of the junior class separately, and I'll continue to meet with the various groups as time allows. My biggest regret, I think, of the last 6 months is that I have not had more time to spend time with students in their classrooms, but this particular entry into the district, as soon as I arrived, the biggest push was for me to find a business manager, and that pretty much took up the first 2 months of the superintendency here, given the fact that we had financial oversight and there were a number of hurdles to overcome. I also then had to hire an executive assistant. So that's taken a lot of our time. The other pressing issue, of course, is the fact that we were in the throes of developing a budget. So hiring the business manager is of the paramount importance at that time, but then working with him to develop that budget with the principals, that has been the focus of our work predominantly, as well as facilities over this harsh winter, as everyone knows. So thank you to Mr. Suda for that leadership on that. Thank you to the principals for their patience. Thank you to the parents for their input. I'm hearing from lots of parents with suggestions and ideas, and a lot of parents who are willing to step up and assume various roles, and I'm excited to hear that. The principals and I have a number of goals as we move forward, but it will be in a more formalized evaluation procedure starting in during the summer when we get our data back from the preliminary results of MCAS. I just wanted to highlight some of the things that I feel have been the most important parts that we've worked on, the important issues that we've brought to the surface. In terms of, there was a district review report that was conducted, the review was conducted in June of 2013, and much of what was listed in there has become the focus of my work in terms of attention. One of the things that I believe has been very, very important is that we have done a lot of focused work on leadership and governance. We've focused particularly, I have anyway, on school committee governance. I met individually with each school committee member. I meet with the chair on a regular basis. And I feel that the relationship has been a very, very good one, and for that I'm eternally grateful. I feel that I have the support of the committee, and I hope they know that they have my support as well. I believe that as we move forward, we'll be doing a lot more collaboration. I know that the school committee will be going to a training about the new evaluation model, as well as any new members who come on board will be going to the orientation. Another focal point that I had was under effective district and school leadership. One of the things I promised when I came is that there would be transparency and accountability, and by that I meant public transparency. So as you recall, when we did the budget book, I know it hadn't been done before, but we were very intent on getting this accomplished. We're feeling very good about that because we feel the towns each had the information they needed as a backdrop by which to make their decisions as we move forward. One of the areas that I will set goals for is that while there was an accelerated improvement plan, when we get our data during the summer, we will immediately, I will with the school committee work on a district improvement plan, also with the administration, with the central administration, as well as the principal ranks, and then they will work on their school improvement plans, and those will be very, very aligned this year. So that's a goal that we all have. We believe that under budget development, we felt that we did a very good job this year because we feel that we were data-driven. The principals did an outstanding job on looking at the data that they had, looking at their facilities, and making decisions as to their asks based on what they saw and what they could prove that they needed. And the last thing under the leadership and governance is effective district systems for school support and interventions. We feel that with the combination of the 5 schools into 4 this year, that we're in actually a good position to have interventions in a different way, and as a matter of fact, possibly more common planning time, which we're very excited about. Curriculum instruction has frankly taken a back seat in my administration, and that will be a huge focal point next year. The principals and I have already talked about a retreat this summer where we'll address some of the issues in curriculum instruction. I do want to publicly thank, because I know she's here tonight, Dr. Zaleski for her extraordinary work on handling 12 different roles for the district. And she was instrumental in the curriculum and instruction work this year with DSAC, with the principals. Strong instructional leadership and effective instruction. The principals have been working on the learning walkthroughs in the buildings, and they're working to calibrate their evaluations. That will continue to be a focal point of our work next year. And then tiered instruction and instructional time. And again, we've made sure that with the closing of Lake Street School, we did not lose staff. We're simply moving students and staff together, so we feel strongly we have not lost any of that. As a matter of fact, we believe that we may gain some. In terms of assessment and effective use of data, we feel that the data-driven decision-making that we did during the budget season will certainly serve us well in our instructional needs next year, because we're already focused as a group on how to do that and how to work forward to get both a global view for the district as well as an individual building view for each facility. The next section that I focused on was the human resources and professional development. Human resources, when I arrived, I know there were many different forms, there were many different procedural things in place. We've tried to tighten those up. We have tightened up on staff recruitment. We have job postings that are going to be consistent. We're consistently doing it the same way. We also have worked as teams to do the selections and then the assignments, and we're looking at how to use our resources very, very wisely, and that includes human resources. In terms of the educator development, as Mr. James and I have met on numerous occasions where we've talked about the need for professional development to move this district forward and how teachers are deserving of that professional development. So I have a number of things in play right now that hopefully will move that agenda forward to get teachers high-quality PD that adheres to the state standards, as well as giving them opportunities to develop their leadership as well as their classroom skills. Under student support, one of the things that I focused on with Mr. Béchant was more access to high-level courses. So with the MIMSI grant, that's the Massachusetts Math and Science Initiative, with that grant next year, we believe that we will be able to offer more AP-level courses, more higher-level honors courses to the general population at the high school. We know that based on past performance of other districts who have used it. We know that that will filter down to the lower grades and raise the rigor in all grades as we move forward. So that's another one. That was about access and equity. The financial and asset management, I know that I would like to thank Mr. Ethia for spearheading the capital and maintenance committee that has taken a look at all the facilities. I'd like to thank Mr. Suda for taking on the facilities management piece as he started his tenure as comptroller, because that's an important piece of maintaining safe, clean, well-maintained buildings. We've done that in both the budget process as well as a separate committee. As we move forward, we're going to have to look at that again. We want to provide the best facilities for students. Again, effective resource management and allocation. We're looking at how to, and you heard Mr. Suter during the budget talks, do an analysis of custodians in various buildings, for example. We will be more data-driven and things like that. We will be looking at those with a complete analysis so that we can provide the best allocation of resources we have with the funds available. For financial tracking, forecasting, controls, and audit, we have, of course, we always have our audits done, but we're very focused on being sure that we're fine-tuning all of our books and that we're making sure that we're spending the money in the best, most efficient way. And then, again, Mr. Ethier, I believe, is going to talk later about the capital and facility management. And those are the major areas that I have worked on. But the goals for next year as we move forward, the principals and I will be setting district goals as well as the school goals at that retreat. And we have a number of plans in place for moving this district forward, because our focus has been and will continue to be to move this district from level 3. Thank you, Mr. Hayes.
Thank you, Dr. Crow. To follow up on a couple of things that the superintendent mentioned, in regards to the committee, we will be going forward to start the evaluation process of the superintendent. However, prior to doing that, there is a learning module that all school committee members that would like to participate in the evaluation must complete. I've had discussions with Glenn Kuchar from Mass School Committee Association, and he is available, I believe it's June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. There would be late afternoon meetings. There will be one meeting. He believes that he'll be able to cover the material within several hours. I will send an email out in the next couple of days to all members and stuff, and need you to confirm. Just keep in mind, those are going to be the dates. That's the only times that he's available. So if you want to participate in the evaluation process, you have to come and complete that module. And then the second phase of that, the superintendent will start setting district improvement plans and goals with the committee, and there'll be perhaps 1 or 2 school committee people that will serve on that as well, and then she'll bring that back from her staff and the principals back to the board for approval, and that will be the second phase of it. So that is, I would anticipate that will be that first week of June, and then probably sometime around August before we actually get into meeting with the superintendent and starting the actual evaluation process. Glenn had mentioned to me that it's very typical when he does these seminars to ask the superintendent to participate and to be there because we have to work on this together, both with the school committee and the superintendent in setting the goals and moving forward to set the stage for the evaluation. So I haven't done that yet, but I will invite the superintendent to do that as well when the time comes. Moving on to the next item on the agenda is going to be the financial reports. Mr. Suter.
Mr. Hayes, my student is here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sure, go right ahead.
Thank you.
Come up to the mic, give us your name.
Hi, I'm sorry I'm late.
Oh, that's fine, no problem.
My name is Caitlin Holmberg, and I'm a student at Knox Trail Junior High. As part of our community service project for Project 351, Cameron Doobie and I completed our spring reading project. Project 351 was initiated by Governor Patrick 5 years ago. The purpose is to celebrate the compassion, commitment, humility, kindness, leadership, and generosity of spirit in young people. As a result, NGHS was able to donate 30 bags of clothing to Cradles to Crayons and tag 10 bags of clothing to Salvation Army. We would like to thank all those who donated to this worthy cause. Knox Trail held its first career day on April 17th. Our 8th grade class had the pleasure of hearing from a judge, a police detective, an EMT who is also a nurse, an entertainment agent and musician, a local business owner, and even a school business manager. It was such a successful day, and we hope that we'll make a career day an annual event. Special thanks to Mrs. Sandberg and Mrs. Suter for organizing this for us. We are so proud to congratulate Ryan LaChapelle and Brianna Canavan for being recognized at the prestigious JFK Make a Difference Award ceremony at the John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum in Boston on April 9th. Important dates: MCAS testing will be May 6th, 7th, and 12th. Progress reports will be available on PowerSchool May 7th. Round 1 of the declamation contest will be May 19th, and round 2 will be May 28th. Grade 6 field trip will be May 29th. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Mr. Suter, financial report?
So I've included in the package for tonight a summarized financial report. And I don't think in the past you've normally gotten the revenue portion of the budget. So I've decided to add that in as a regular piece of the reporting to you. So you can see the first page is a summary. It's got all the general fund revenue that we budget to pay for the general fund accounts, and then a summary total of the expenditures, and then the 2 backup sheets are the details of the expenditures summarized by function code. So I'm trying to keep it a little simpler so it's not so confusing. And just a touch, you can see that in the revenue section, we are anticipating some shortfalls in the revenue, the largest one being $124,000 in the transportation reimbursement, which were the cuts made mid-year by the governor. But that's it. And I do plan to have some transfer requests at the next school committee meeting.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? Any members have any questions? Mr. Nordquist.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to pass this around to all the members, and
to Mr. Suter, how'd you make out with the school bus, and you put down on your school committee on 21st, you start negotiating with the bus company?
Yeah, well, we're not negotiating per se, but they're re-looking at the routes based on closing a Lake Street school, and they haven't gotten back to us yet on the reconfigured routes and the costs, so we're waiting to find out on that.
Well, but I'm
But
past,
I did see this article based on the fuel costs, so I'm sure that'll be part of our discussion.
I just passed out, this is for the town of Holden, so I think we ought to use this when you're talking with them. If it works for one, it should work for other towns that's served by AA transportation. So I just want to make you aware of it, and the superintendent, so keep that in mind when you come to any contract negotiations.
Thank you, Mr. Nordquist. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, moving on. In your packet, you had copies of the minutes for April 21st. Is there a motion to approve unless there's any additions or deletions?
So moved.
Motion by Angela. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vinnie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So voted. Also in your package was approve and retain the 4/21/15 executive session meeting minutes. Any additions or deletions? Otherwise, a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by Angela. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vinnie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. You know, over the course of time, many people come forward to serve on the school committee, and tonight, Chris King is with us for his last meeting. Chris has served for 6 years on this committee, and he's participating and trying to do a lot of things to help move the district forward, and I'm sure he's had some positive as well as negative experiences. But, you know, we've had plenty of employees that have retired from the district, and we simply send a letter and stuff. They're paid positions, and they get rewarded for their work. But as a member of the school committee, it's a dedication and it's a contribution of your time away from your family, away from your work, and a real commitment to try to make some positive changes in the school district for the children. So I thought it was apropos, rather than just a letter, that for his 6 years of service, that Chris deserved to get some type of recognition. And I'd like to ask Dr. Crow to present this to Chris.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm going to read it into the record. Spencer East Brookfield Regional School District School Committee. To be a volunteer, it takes generosity, a willingness to give your time to others, understanding because their lives might be very different from your own, empathy, an ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes and feel what they must feel, compassion to truly care about making someone else's life better, patience, because the process doesn't always go as smoothly as it might, dedication to stick with the project and see it through. You've shown these qualities and so much more. So thank you for your 6 years of service to the Spencer East Brookfield Regional School District School Committee, to Christopher King, 2009-2015.
Thanks very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. We will now go to the discussion we're going to have about facility use. Those people that are here that use the facility, would you mind coming down, taking a seat in the front so that you can go to the mic to ask your questions or give us your comments and stuff? What we did was, besides being posted, the superintendent sent notification out to all of the groups that have utilized our facilities over the past year. So I guess I thought I saw Paul Fournier come in. Oh, yeah, okay, Paul. What we would like to do, because of some of the wrinkles that we had in the use of the facilities and stuff with the new administration coming on, the committee had some discussion that we thought it would be a good idea to ask those folks that utilize our facilities to come in and just give us your feelings and your thoughts of what you think we can do better, how we can help you, how we can help the kids, to give us some suggestions on what would make it a more friendly user type process, and just to give us some indication as to how you see this working for you, what we could do better, and what is working good. So I don't know if either one of you would like to start and give us any of your thoughts.
Hi, I'm Chris Bocas. I'm the president of the Spencer Basketball Club. What we were introduced to was, we were a little taken back because we thought we had our ducks in order right before our season was to start. What we were introduced to were policies that were absolutely documented but never enforced for the last 10 years. And that's what threw us off. Fortunately, we had taken precautions thanks to some guidance from the soccer club to go out and get insurance. Corey checks were already part of the process, and then we just had to fill out the forms. We're a basketball club. We can only practice on the basketball courts. We're not karate. We can't do it in a calf. We have to have basketball courts. You can't send the kids outside. It's cold outside. If we could, we would, but we need the time. We have 250 kids enrolled in our program. We actually represent our town in a district of almost 120, 130 other teams and other towns. And we have about 100 kids in our travel program. We have a need in a curriculum that we strongly are enforcing in the last 2 years. Basketball in Spencer traditionally has always been a pickup basketball sport. The kids get 1 or 2 practices, and then the poor coaches have to teach them basketball while playing the game. We feel it's important to have practices, teach the kids the rules, teach the kids the sportsmanship, and then put them on the court to show their skills off to their parents. Our curriculum was challenged this year only because of the amount of time that we were restricted on the basketball courts. We totally understand and we appreciate all the work that you guys have worked with us throughout the season. The season was very successful. Okay, my only concern is that if we could possibly work with other organizations, we had an agreement going into the season with soccer that they needed one night, all night at one particular school. They asked for East Brookfield. We gave them it before the season even started. We would love to be able to negotiate and have a little flexibility in the schedule so that we can use the gyms when they're not being used. And then my final concern is, and it's not a concern if it is what it is, but we paid $9,100 in school fees and gym fees to play basketball in our courts. And we would have paid more if we were allowed the time, but we weren't. And we have a fantastic set of schools. If you compare us to other schools in the area, Knox Trail is above a lot of different schools. I mean, people really enjoy coming to us on Sundays and playing in our travel league. It's easy to find, it's well maintained, it's always clean. People just love that school. It's a very, very nice school, and we take a lot of pride in making sure that that school is cleaner than when we got there. We do that with all of our practices. We sweep afterwards. We know that the janitor's right upstairs. I know he's going to come in and do the same thing, but it's our school. We're going to take care of them. But those are just my concerns right off the top of my head. Thank you.
Thank you. Rob?
Good evening. Rob Hoekstra, 12 Deer Run. Over the course of the last 8 months, working with Kevin and Dr. Crow, it's been a bumpy road, to say the least, but I think what we did last year in basically finding a policy why we had a season was challenging, but in the end, we had a successful season. Our kids enjoyed it. It was just hard for us as coaches and people on the board to go back to our parents and explain to them why we can't use the gym when they drive by Knox Trail on Wednesday night and it's dark. They drive by on Mondays and Fridays, it's dark, and we got to explain this to kids when we're practicing with 20 kids, one coach on one side, another coach on the other. You know, it's hard to concentrate, but overall we had a successful season. So that being said, Chris gave us a good summary of what happened last year. I want to just focus on what we're going to do this year with the school committee and come up with a policy on what it's going to cost. I hate using that word cost, but what it's going to take for us to use the gyms when they're available. And if they're not booked from a different organization, I'm hoping that they would be available to us, the basketball community, because there's nothing more gratifying to see the youth of our town not home playing video games, not home watching TV, out at the basketball court exercising. I mean, we had an unbelievable showing this year, 200 plus kids. We had 5 teams that represented our town in the South Central Massachusetts Basketball League playoffs. 2 of them made it to the championship game. I also put my 4th grade team out in a tournament out in Brimfield. We made it to the championship game there. I'm sure you guys saw it in the Spencer New Leader. So I think what we're doing here is great for the kids, but also part of the winter program. I mean, I have plans or hopes and admiration to do something for the kids during the summertime, utilizing the East Brookfield and Wire Village outdoor courts. So I think it's important that we all get together and come up with a policy on how we can use the facilities at a lesser cost, as long as we, Spencer Basketball, have all of our documents in place. We should be able to work a lot smoother in 2015, 16, and beyond. So that's all I had to say. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob. Before I have the superintendent of the committee, Paul, are you representing the soccer or anything? Do you want to?
No, I just
okay.
came to support these guys for the basketball. So.
All right. Dr. Crow, before I open it up to the committee, would you like to give an overview as to what's required currently? And,
So I think that both of you know what the current pack looks like now, for sure. We've done it enough times now. One of the things, just so you know, the philosophy of the administration, certainly, and I won't speak for the school committee, I'll let them speak for themselves, but we do feel strongly that we want our facilities used, and we do believe in what you're doing in terms of working with youth in the community. So we both applaud that, but we also encourage that. Our dilemma always is that if we rent out the facility long-term to just your group, then we have other groups that may come to us later and say, oh, we need it for something else. One of the things that I thought of is maybe there's a way to do that so that we can come to you and say, we have this exceptional case that we have to do. It's a practice night. We need the building back, that kind of thing. I don't know. We'll have to look at that. What we do know, though, is that, and I asked Ms. Purvia to be here tonight because she's the one that does these contracts for us, and so she's pretty well versed in all the questions that come up. But one of our concerns is that we know that the fee schedule is pretty antiquated. You know, this policy has been in place, you're absolutely right. The policy just wasn't adhered to. That's correct. But the prices, the fee schedule is very antiquated. We're not even sure we need the columns we have, but we know that some of the prices are certainly way off because they haven't been reviewed in a number of years. So that's what we've been warning people about, is that these fees may in fact have to go up, because keeping the lights on for $20 certainly isn't going to cover the fee. Oh, could I just finish? The other thing is the custodians, you know, they're paid to be there to clean. So we have to hire another one to be there when you're going to be there, because it's really not fair to the one who's supposed to be doing things in the building already. And we do know that you take very good care of the building, by the way. We're fully aware of that. I don't know, do you want to let him speak? I don't know.
Yeah.
You want to ask me something?
Yeah. Before you do, just to clarify what Dr. Crow said, the committee is in full support of our facilities being used on every occasion that they're available to be used. We certainly want it to be where it doesn't cost us money, but I, as one member, am not looking for it to be a profit center for us. We simply need to be able to cover whatever the costs are for allowing the building to be used. But I think we all are in support of all the activities you do, and we thank you for the efforts that you put forward and the time that you dedicate to the kids and stuff. I think it's terrific. But go ahead, Rob, you wanted to ask it.
I just wanted to touch on those 2 items, the utility costs for us to be in the gym. there are occasions when I do drive by the schools and we don't have practice those nights. Normally the gym lights are on, so I'm not sure on how you would even find a cost code to find out what the light bill would be. How you would break down Spencer basketball from normal non-practice night. So that's one of the concerns I had. The other one is when the custodians do when they allow us in the gym at 6 p.m. and then we leave at 8 p.m., they're still doing their normal task. They're still doing their normal job inside the school. They're not waiting for us to finish practice. They're not. When I get to the gym here, I work with Mrs. DuPont on a daily basis, and I email and I make sure that the gym is clean before and after. I sweep the gym every time I come into this building. So the custodians, to me, is a non-point for us using these gyms. They don't clean up during the week. The Sunday game time, absolutely. What Mike does down at Knox Trail is tremendous. You know, him, myself, and Chris every week clean the gym at the end of it, and he obviously has to be there. So I have a hard time understanding the cost for these custodian and the lights. But what I'm doing on the back end is I'm going around other communities and seeing what their gym use fees are in the Quabbin area, Leicester, Auburn, and I'm trying to see if I can get those figures and maybe present them to you guys to consider over the next couple of months for the fall. So.
Good. Dr. Crow?
Ms. Purvia actually has done that research. So, because that was one of the things that we wanted to be sure that, you know, we were
For those of you
not undercharging or overcharging for that matter, because we're not looking to be a profit. You know, we're just looking to cut even. And just to address one of the things you said, our custodians do not work 7 days a week. So that's why there's an additional cost, because they may not be on duty and we may have to hire somebody to come in.
Melissa?
For those of you who haven't been introduced yet, I'm Melissa Purvier, the District Billing Secretary. Rob, to touch on a couple of the topics you mentioned, the custodians, we don't pass along the cost for when you're in the gym during normal billing out, like during normal school hours. So if the custodian is there until 8, that's not passed along to you. So that's not really an issue so much as working the weekends. As far as them not being able to accomplish their duties, it's kind of difficult to do some of them, cleaning the bathrooms when they've got students using the facilities, letting kids in and out, making sure people are where they're supposed to be. It's things like that that do take away from, you know, their normal everyday activities that they're supposed to be performing. As far as using the facilities, you know, 5 days a week or 6 days a week or 7 days a week, we do try to offer it on a first-come, first-served basis, and when we give it to one specific group for that many days, it makes it difficult, like Dr. Crow mentioned, for other groups that want to come in and use the space. And we have principals who like to, you know, reserve a day for school functions and things like that. But we definitely, I mean, we recognize your need. We, you know, we fully support the use of the buildings for the kids. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. It's my first time up here. In the past, we recognize that you guys were not asked to provide the Corey forms, the 501Cs, the general liability policies, and things like that. So we recognize that there's a little bit of frustration there. We've worked through it. We, you know, everything's working smoothly now. But in terms of the usage fees for the facilities, as Dr. Crow stated, they're very antiquated. My research found that they go back as far as 2008. And in the last 6 months alone in the state of Massachusetts, electric rates have doubled, some cases tripled. So to say that they haven't even increased since 2008 between then and now they've even gone up even higher. And we have groups such as karate, like you guys mentioned, they use the gym for 1 hour and they're charged the same $20 fee as you're charged for 4 hours. So the light usage, it's not equitable as far as what you're being charged. I'm sorry? It's not, but the cost is being passed along to the school, and so then it's becoming, you know, something that we're paying for versus the group when you're being charged not accurate fees for use of the lights, the air conditioning, the heating, things like this. If you're in there on a Saturday for 8 hours, you're being charged $20 for the day, and we have to turn up the heat or turn up the air conditioning or, you know, turn the lights on in the building, things like that. You know, they're costs that are incurred.
Excuse me, Rob, please. I'll let you speak. I'll let you speak. You're going to go to the mic because they're trying to tape this, and my phone rang off the hook with criticism because of not having people come to the mic. So she's going to speak, and then you can get up and refute or make any comments that you don't want to make. I'll give you that opportunity. Go ahead.
I was just trying to simply explain there are costs incurred to the district when the fees are so outdated. And I was just trying to explain a little bit that that's why we're recommending that the rate schedule be updated, that, there be some revisions to the current packet because it is so out of date.
Okay. Rob, want to go address what you...
So we've heard everything before. And one of the things you've said a couple of times, Dr. Crow, is that you're not looking to make money, and Chairman, you've said it as well. We're a nonprofit. Anything that you charge, I have to turn around and charge the parents, okay? So it's not us that are paying this money. I have to now go and I have to charge. I just paid just under $10,000 to use our school system, our schools, because a janitor, by the way, until the last practice that I held here, I never met the janitor. I never saw the janitor. At East Brookfield, I do not see the janitor unless it's Ron, because Ron likes to come down and say hi to me, okay? Not you. Okay? Haven't even met the principal yet, okay? Great guy. Thank you for all your help, though. Mike is the only janitor that I have met because I drive him to Knox Trail every Sunday. We do our thing and we drive him home. He's amazing. Absolutely. I mean, I have no problems paying the janitors. They are great. Debbie on Saturdays at East Brookfield, fantastic. Okay? Great team. They're there. They keep the place running. Any problems, they help us with the hoops. They get the transitions going. Fantastic. But during the week, we're walking in at 6, we're walking out of there at 8, and nobody knows the difference. We're in there playing. The gym doesn't matter. We're not costing any money. You could shut the heat off. Those kids are running so hard that they'd appreciate it. All right? It feels nice in here for a change, all right? Because it's usually really hot in here, okay? It's the extra cost just has to go right to the parents on these organizations. So when you are coming up with a new fee, expect and anticipate people questioning, wait a second, it's not an additional cost to you because we're already paying for that cost, whether we're in the gym or not. This is our school. This is what it takes to run the schools and keeps the schools open. Yeah. So just help us relay that message to our parents, and I'd really appreciate it.
All right. Any members care to weigh in on this, Bludia?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I agree with a lot of things that the board members, well, that yourself has said. I certainly agree with some of the speakers' comments. I'm not looking to make this a profit center either. It's not a goal. The goal, I think, that we set up with this by this board in reviewing this policy was to make it fair and equitable across the district so that if somebody, whether it's basketball, soccer, whether it's karate, was going to rent a facility in any one of our schools, it was going to be the same criteria. It was going to be applied across the board. And that's what the whole purpose was of doing this review was. That said, our utility bills annually for the district are in excess of $500,000. And that $500,000 is a budget that we get squeezed year after year after year after year by the two communities that this district serves. Any extracurricular activities that go on in this school, I completely support charging a fee to the users of those for those services, and if they have to pass that on to the parents of the children that are in it, so be it. That's what has to happen. We're forced to make sound budget decisions here, and we're being squeezed for every penny that we can possibly get. And for extracurricular use, I want to see the buildings used. I want to see the buildings used if they're going to be used every day. I'm fine with that, but somebody has to pay for that. There is overtime involved, and I'm not going to get into all the personnel and contractual matters that go along with janitorial services that you folks are certainly not aware of. But there are contractual issues, and at certain times we have to pay overtime for these janitors to be in the building. So
there's a lot of different things that need to go into this, and I'm not going to sit here tonight and say I have a solution to it. I support what we're trying to accomplish. I want to accomplish what they're looking for, and it's unfortunate that we're only, that you two guys are the only two people that seem to be here this evening, because certainly my phone has rang off the hook over the past year with the various entities who have claimed that, we're not being allowed to do this, we're not being allowed to do that, we're not being allowed to do this, and we find out it's not that we're not being allowed. That's not the case at all. I think you said it very, very well. These policies have been on the books for years, years and years and years. Nobody sitting on this board drafted these policies. They've been here. They just haven't been enforced. And that's unfortunate. But there are reasons for it, and I think that those have been shared by the chairman and certainly by the superintendent as to what those reasons are. We have an obligation to make sure that our facilities and the people in the facilities are protected. We have to protect the district just as well. Insurance is a big part of protection. It's unfortunate that that's where we are, but that's where we are in these days. Corey checks, it's another important thing. And some people have shared with us, sat right in front of us and said, yeah, we do all that, we have that, we're nonprofit. Yeah, show us the paperwork. Oh, you mean you want to see it? You mean you really want to see it? Yeah, and they can't produce it. So that's the unfortunate thing. We're being led down, a path which isn't fair to us. We're trying to be as amenable as possible with the facilities that aren't owned by us. We're just challenged with overseeing their use. They're owned by the communities of Spencer and East Brookfield. The district owns the facilities, but it's certainly up to us to make sure that they can get the most use they possibly can safely for the district. And I think we can accomplish that, Mr. Chairman. I think we need to, I read through the documents that have been put in our packet, and I think we could certainly change this application. I would like to see it changed. I would like to see where it says additional requirements, it says, number one, do you, the requesting organization, have an enforced general liability policy, yes or no? Well, I don't think that should be there if that's not the question. If we're not renting our facilities or allowing the use of our facilities, if they don't have it, it should be more of these are the mandatory requirements to utilize our facility. You must do this. You must do this. You must do this. And let's put it right out there so that, and I know this is on the school website, but let's get the new document once it's adopted on the new website so everybody has it. And certainly I want to be upfront as well. But I echo your sentiments that I'm not looking to make money. This isn't a profit center for the district, but I'm certainly looking to cover all of our costs, and we have to identify what those are. And I know that some of those costs may be different if it's on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, as opposed to a Saturday or Sunday. And then, of course, we have to consider whether there's going to be overtime, the length of the event during the week. So there's a lot of different things that go into it, and at some point you're going to have to someone's going to have to come up with an average. So I would ask that those comments be taken back to the administration, and that the administration come back with a newly revised packet, a set of rules, a set of guidelines, a set of musts, so that I think it's a little more clearer. So those would be my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinnie. I think the end game here is we need to have, once we take into consideration comments and input that the board will have, we need to have a complete packet that when someone wants to use the facilities, it's handed to them, and these are the musts. These are the things that you must have. The package doesn't go forward until it's there. And then once it's there, we'll work through the rest of the stuff. This was an extraordinary year, this particular season, because of a new superintendent coming along, looking at all the policies, enforcing things that had never been enforced. So we've been through that trial run, so it won't be as difficult in the upcoming year. But it would be I don't want the superintendent involved in this. I think she has enough other things to do that going forward, starting the new school year, everything is going to go through Mrs. Purvia, and everything will be handled by her. All the applications will go to her, and she'll be making the decision as to how the facility will be used and stuff. It's not going to be handled by the superintendent. She's got a lot bigger fish to fry at this point. We've got a person that's compensated to do that, and she will put in force a plan that will be voted on by this board as a district-wide policy. And that policy is going to hold for everybody, no exceptions. And when an application comes in, if we don't have nonprofit information, if we don't have insurance, then a letter will get generated from Ms. Purvia saying these things are missing. The application is not going to go forward until we have that information. And once we get it, the process will continue again until the application process is complete. I think that will take, I think we pretty much worked out most of the real issues that we had, in the beginning of the season, but we're just trying to make something easier for you and for us, and still keep it reasonable so that we don't want this to get to a point where you say, look, we can't afford to do this anymore. The parents can't come up with the money, can't pay it. Rob? Okay, no problem.
I just want to go back to what Melissa was saying about, and I think Dr. Crow said the same thing, if other organizations want to come in and use the gym, we've always said, if we had 4 basketball teams, I only need to practice two times a week. I could make it work at 2 schools, be done. But we have 200 plus kids, and we always said, we requested the gym time from November through February based on the amount of participants we had. And if there was ever a need for another organization, a school function, a principal need the gym, we're happy to get out of there. It's just when we had planned to practice on days where there were empty gyms that was where we had a hard time selling it to our parents. So we're still enforcing that. If we apply for these days based on the number of participants we have, and hopefully the program stays at the same or grows even more next year, that we would openly give the gym time back, whoever wants it, and we'd lose a night, and we'd have to make it work somewhere else. I mean, that's the number one thing. And Mr. Cloutier, I got the letter in the mail yesterday saying that this discussion was happening tonight. So I texted Chris and Paul at 9 o'clock last night and said, hey, let's go down. And I thought it was just going to be a presentation by you to come back to us and say, this is what we're going to do. So if this is going to be continued to the next school committee meeting, there will be some parents in here on behalf of the Spencer Basketball Club. I don't know what Little League or any other organizations are doing, but I can guarantee you that you'll have more than 3 people here representing us if we want to continue this discussion.
Absolutely. This is the first.
There are a lot of people that are concerned about this. It's just not us 3 and we take it back, and there are a lot of parents out there and players that are behind us.
We definitely will carry this to one more meeting, and that will be the final meeting for input from the community, because there will be a better opportunity to give more notice for the next time, and then that will end the open discussion about it, and then administration will put together a policy that will come before the board for our vote.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
To your point, I think both of you have cooperated with us throughout this season when gym had to be used and you were bumped, and everything worked out fine. So I don't think it's not anything from our standpoint of any lack of cooperation.
I mean, we're here 5 months before our season is even going to start. That's how much we care about what's going to happen next year and beyond. So.
Yeah. Dr. Crow?
I just wanted to mention that this is but one policy that we're looking at. We need to review all our policies, so there will be ample opportunity for us to have these discussions. I mean, my intention is to probably have a policy subcommittee set up that's just to look at policies, because many of the policies haven't been revisited in a number of years, and they probably need revision in a number of places.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cloutier.
Just a quick follow-up. My comments, I think you took them wrong. It's not that there's only 2 of you showing up from the basketball organization. That's great. That's all we need is the 2 of you. You seem like you're the 2 people that are in control of the organization. My point was, where's the Little League? We went through a fiasco this year with Little League. And, where are the other organizations? I'm not talking about, we don't need 200 parents from basketball here. We hear you loud and clear. And I think you've heard the comments here. We're willing to work with you. We're willing to look at what we have for policies and procedures, fee schedules and alike, and look at this and find out how we can make this a little more modern, a little more up to date, and make sure, I think you've heard it from at least a few of us, that we're not looking to make money at this. We're looking to cover costs. And that's what we have to do. We really have to do that for the district. So I guess my plea would be to other organizations, if we're going to continue this, Mr. Chairman, to our next meeting, I'm just asking that any other organization that is either interested, has rented, will be renting in the future, please come forward, because we'd like to hear. The whole idea of this discussion was to involve the leagues and the groups that actually rent the facility, to hear your side of it. We've certainly heard it from you folks tonight, and we appreciate it. So.
Mr. Nordquist?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I just want to say to these two young men, when I was a youngster in grammar school and all the way to junior high school, I played basketball. That was my #1 gig, and I enjoyed it, and I look forward to it. And like you say, it keeps the kids busy and they learn things. And I fully support you on all sports, but I happen to play basketball. So anyways, I'd be looking forward what Mr. Cloutier just said, Mr. Hayes, that we go over this thing and make it work for you and everybody else, because you have a season. It's not year-round, and that's great, you know, and I fully encourage you to keep pushing on. If you would put out, when the season starts, maybe some parents could come and sit and watch the games off the public here and probably put some money in the till also. But it's a great thing to keep the kids busy, and they can learn something. If you make it to the top, you make big money. But on your sports that you went to the district meetings, I wish I knew that then. I didn't happen to see the new leader, but I don't read everything. But congratulations on what they did, because that's something for the town to be proud of. And we should also be looking at having a plaque on the side of the roads that these kids, whether it's at Knox Tree or whatever, happen to get to our finals, because they'd like to see that, you know, to be recognized. And I fully support you. But like Mr. Cloutier says and Mr. Hayes, we should really go over this one more time and just weed out what we think is right and what's wrong. But I fully support all sports for all the kids. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt. Angela?
Thanks. First, I want to thank you, because this isn't the first time you've come to one of our meetings, and I know it's a lot to do this when you're volunteering for something, and I can tell how passionate you are about this. And I think that it is very important, and I'm excited that so many kids are involved. As an insurance person, I am horrified that we haven't been following these procedures in the past few years, because that's a quick way to have no schools open in a town, is to just have one incident. But that's with my insurance hat. Nobody else needs to wear that scary hat. As a person that did sports, but that wasn't my favorite thing, I do feel that there needs to always be something in the contract that says that if there's a school, say a couple teachers come together and want to put together a play at the junior high and they need time to have rehearsals, that any school activities are going to be able to bump any of these contracts, because just because that's the way that the cookie crumbles, I guess. Because I think that really we're here for the school activities first, and there are sport activities that are connected to the school as well. And then finally with the fees, I'm kind of amazed at how cheap they are. I know, like there's a church I'm on the board at in Worcester, they charge $50 an hour to use their gym for anybody, it doesn't matter who you are. And I'm just and they're not for profit really either, but I'm good. I want parents to be able to afford it. I don't want only the kids that have both parents working and high-priced jobs to be able to come, but maybe we have to do a little more fundraising. I'm happy to support it that way.
Dr. Crow?
I just through the chair to Ms. Napton, I want to assure you that that is how the policy reads, is that school activities do take priority, so that when there is an some organization in the school running a school activity, that does take priority. That's taken into account when we do the original contract. Things are scheduled, but if things aren't already scheduled by the school and then they come up, the organization is notified.
Thank you. Heather?
With a new website on the horizon for us, would it be possible to post a calendar so that everyone can see when facilities are available, so they can negotiate with other organizations for time? Yes? That's something? Okay.
Through the chair?
Yep.
That is part of the plan, Ms. Messier. That is part of what we intend to do, is have a master calendar for events.
Awesome.
The other committee members?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Ethia.
I'd also like to thank Mr. Bokus and Mr. Hoekstra. I am one of the parents. Both of my girls had a great time playing basketball this past winter, I'm sorry. And as far as an upcoming meeting, we may have a better result if we wait until June, because on my way to the meeting tonight, I dropped my girls off at East Brookfield for soccer, and, you know, I saw the Little League kids playing on the way too. So we may get a better turnout from the leaders of those groups if we hold this until June. Just a suggestion, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else with any comments or suggestions? You gentlemen have anything else that you'd like to add? All right, we're going to take your comments in for the record and stuff. The matter will stay opened, and we will have another date where people have another opportunity to come in and stuff, and we'll, at that point, come up with a policy after we hear from everybody at the next meeting. Thanks for coming, appreciate it. Next item on the agenda, citizen input. Anybody wish to be heard? Okay, seeing none. Comments from the board? Anyone have any comments that they would like to make or questions? Mr. Nordquist.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to hold my time, but I just want to get this out there to Mr. Easy makes his statement, because I got some things to talk about what this year's budget is, and so I'll hold my time on that. The second thing is I just want to say, Dr. Crow mentioned it, but I have to say this from the bottom of my heart, that Karen Selesky, since I've been here, she did 10 hats or wherever she did, and she did 100% on hats, and she also got grants that we desperately need, and helped this district along. She's always there on a call, and I wish her best of luck in her new job venture. And with that being said, I'm going to make a motion that the school committee send her a letter for her service and time while she's at David Perry High School. I think that's only just right for all her time she did here and to be recognized. So I'm going to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we have Dr. Crow send her a letter on behalf of the school committee.
A motion made Mr. Nordquist. Second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Cludier. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, so voted.
Thank you.
Mike, did you have something?
Yeah, over the last couple of months, we've been working on this new capital subcommittee. Myself, Mr. Nordquist, Ms. Napkin, and yeah, I did it.
It's okay.
Sorry, Ms. Napkin.
Since kindergarten, it's okay.
And and along with Mr. Suda, we've in all the school principals, we've had meetings in the schools. We've gone through, found a lot of issues, and honestly, not a lot of them are capital as much as they're maintenance. And some of the maintenance things have grown to be capital, but I mean, I'm not going to read this whole list but I mean, the major things are,
It's a big list.
we need to get an energy audit as soon as possible on the heating, the HVAC systems, the electrical systems, the ventilation systems, just so we can get everything updated, so we don't have problems like we've had in the past. These newer buildings are getting to the point where these systems are really going to be in need of being looked at. The telephone systems, we're in the process, the telephone system district-wide. Obviously this past winter was a difficult winter. We had a lot of issues with the roofs. Mr. Suter's been speaking with some solar companies. We're looking into savings there. So our next step is we're gonna have another public meeting coming up. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna prioritize what needs to be done right away. Because some of these things can't wait. But that's our next step. And I'd like to get this report up, the finalized report with the priorities, on that new website so people can see, what we're working on. That's pretty much where we stand.
All right, thank you. Thanks for the report, Mike, for you and the other members of the committee. It gives the rest of us the opportunity to go through and look at this, and we can have further discussion on it at the next meeting. And before that time, you'll probably have the opportunity to meet with Mr. Suter and with the superintendent and to put together a list of priorities that will come to the board, and then the full board will weigh in as to the order of priorities as well. Then we can move on and see where we are from a financial standpoint. Mr. Nyquist.
Mr. Chairman, just to get back to, I did find out from some principals when going through that they don't even know that we have an electrician that works for the district and a plumber. So I think that's a big step. People don't know who to call. But anyways, there's some stuff that could be done now with the building and maintenance we have and get a lot of this stuff done. I don't want to go into details, but each schools we're around to, it should be done now instead of having a big agenda. It's minor stuff. It's $2,000, $3,000, something like that. That's in the building maintenance account. So we should use that. There's money there. I looked at today, and the principal should use the money for each school for that reason. And it can be done with our plumbers and electrician we have for the district. And it can save a lot in the run. I'll just give one example. The high school has some problems. East Brookfield has clocks that need to be fixed, which are minor, and that should be done through the principals, through Mr. Suter, and say, this is what we should do and be done with it before the next school year starts. And because it does need some work. And so.
Thank you, Mr. Nyquist. Anyone else?
Just one.
I
just have one other question.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Open thing there. As this board, I was going to ask Dr. Crow or Mr. Bayshant how Mr. Wage is doing. I haven't heard nothing. How's he doing?
I'm sorry, Kurt, I didn't get the question.
How's Mr. Wage doing, the music teacher? He had a major operation, and you probably can't go into a lot of detail, but he's...
Sorry, Mr. Nye, we can't discuss that.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Anyone else have, Heather?
In honor of Teacher Appreciation Week, I'd like to say thank you to all of the teachers and support staff of the Spencer East Brookfield School District. I appreciate your hard work and your dedication to the students and for furthering their education daily. Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any comments, questions?
Just one last thing. I see it on a TV program about having a police officer come in to talk to students about drugs and this and that. I think we all look forward to doing that in the next fall through the Spencer Police or the county sheriff or whatever, and explain the downfalls and the problems of what's can happen with our students. So I just ask that be looked in for the fall schedule.
Superintendent is already in that process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I didn't know that, so I'm just asking a question. Thank you.
Citizens, so that is in the process of happening.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded?
Second.
Seconded by Vinnie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Voted.